Hello, everyone. Welcome to part 3 of our Building a Cold War Scenario series. So I have a feeling we're going to have a couple parts that come after this, but I'll kind of get to that in a minute. So far, we've built ourselves a pretty neat scenario, basically involving, the theoretical, 600 bomber invasion from the Soviet Union in the mid-1950s. We've spent some time putting all the cities in the United States in here. We loaded up each one of these individual airports with different types of airplanes that would be appropriate. We've equipped them. We used some Lua last time to go ahead and actually generate our absurdly large bomber invasion. And now it's time to actually do a little bit of our initial testing here to see just how well this scenario works, and then kind of make some decisions as to what we want to do from there. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that this might take a few minutes because just the scope of our scenario has creeped just a tiny bit. So let's go ahead and unpause and crank up time here. Now, I have a pretty powerful computer here. This is, basically it's a 10850K, 32 RAM, everything's solid state on here. So this is going to be the upper limit of the maximum amount of units that you can pretty much have going at once. Now, keep in mind, up until any other point before this, I haven't actually launched any aircraft or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and flip on my radars here. That should slow my calculations down a little bit. And let's kind of see how things go. Now, from a gameplay perspective, this already sucks because I'm just sort of sitting here picking my nose going, okay, all right. When does the scenario get started? So one of the things we're going to have to evaluate and think about fixing is how we're going to get the action going from pretty much the get-go. Obviously, some of the most fun command scenarios, usually the fun doesn't start until a good solid 2 or 3 in-game hours into it. But unfortunately, a player just kind of sitting here sort of chilling while that clock goes up doesn't really give you the most satisfaction, I guess is what I call. Ironically, this is a very authentic way to kind of play these scenarios because you never actually know. Now, remember, if we had used Lua earlier in order to basically randomly place them at any given time so that they could strike, that would have given us a slightly different experience, and it's something we can think of. But I have the feeling that our scenario size creep has gotten so excessive that even though I put everything in place, it's still going to be giving us some issues here. So let's go ahead and check in with everybody and see how they're going. You can see that my first wave here is, they started at 2:30. It's almost 5 o'clock, or 4 o'clock, I should say here. And they're taking their sweet time to get all the way to here. Now, one of the interesting things I've noticed, and I think you'll probably notice this too, is remember how these are all the Tupolev 4s, and these are all the Tupolev 16s? The Tupolev 16 has a cruise speed of 420 knots. The 4 has a cruise speed of 245 knots. Now, from a gameplay perspective, this is actually a good thing, because what it means is that if the player sees incoming bombers and starts throwing everything at them, they're going to be attacking the first wave rather than the second wave, which is actually more numerous and equally as deadly as the first wave is. So from a gameplay perspective, this is actually a good thing, and it's something we're going to have to kind of keep track of. So I'm going to do you all a favor real quick, and go ahead and fast forward to the fun part. All right, we've just started detecting some of the incoming aircraft here. Now, the interesting thing is if you look, our local time is now 5:40. So, of course, in real time, that was several minutes it took to actually pass before things start getting interesting for us. Now, the interesting thing I mentioned earlier is we actually deleted all the radar stations along the upper coast of Canada and Alaska here, basically as a way to kind of simplify things a little bit. But I can see that it still takes a very long time before we can do anything about the incoming bombers. Now, so we know there's a lot of unknown aircraft that basically come flying at us right now. So now I'm trying to think about the player for a second here. Saying, okay, so what's their strategy going to be? So the first thing I'd be interested in is trying to identify the general path of the bombers. Now, the nice thing is I can just do one of these things and figure out pretty darn quickly that this bomber is on a path for most likely Wichita Falls here. That's out in Kansas. So that's going to be a problem. But it also means I have a lot of time to worry about that bomber. The bad news is we're not spotting any bombers that seem to be on a vector for any of our air bases other than Port Ellsworth Air Base as well as to Malmstrom Air Base as well. So already we're going to have some problems as far as picking our targets. Now things have just gotten a little better. I noticed that there's several aircraft here. This particular bogey here is clearly coming for us. Or if it's not coming for us, it is coming for, this is going to be Glendale, Chandler, Phoenix. That's all Arizona. So we could definitely take a crack at those because they're going to pass right over the top of us. These aircraft are a waste of our time. And any players that are playing this scenario will know pretty quickly, unless these are supposed to do a zigzag at the last minute, which is the correct thing to do, by the way, from a design and planning perspective. We don't really have to worry about them. But we do have to worry about the ones that are coming right at us. So let's go ahead and see where we're going as far as this one goes. This one's going this way. Yeah. So this is a group of bombers. We're again going to just emulate pretty much the standard player response here. Get myself an intercept mission. Intercepted! And I'm going to disable this mission. And again, I'm going to pretend I'm a pretty solid player here. I'm going to add all these units. I'm going to make sure the mission is inactive, because here's the problem. If I get my aircraft airborne now, if you take a look at the distances, I'm at 390 nautical miles. The range on the aircraft, let's take a look at what we have here. I think these are F-86, F-89s. Let's see here. Our intercept range on these particular versions are 150 nautical miles. So if I enable the mission too soon, I'm wasting my time, because remember, the intercept range isn't until they basically cross into Vancouver here. So basically, if I launch my aircraft earlier, I'd be wasting my time because they'd run out of fuel before they get to the destination. So you can already see, we're already running into the typical challenges that come up with this kind of a scenario. But again, I'm not too worried about it. Let's see what we have in McCord here. We have 86Ds, but we also have 9 Starfires. We can't use the 86Ds until about 8:30 in the morning. But what I will do is I'll go ahead and add these to my intercepted mission, and also prepare these aircraft also for my intercepted mission. I'm only going to hold on to half of them here. I'm not going to launch every single one of them. And again, these guys aren't going to launch until we actually activate the mission. The folks over at Larson Air Base here, I have nothing for them to shoot at yet, because nobody's going to come close to crossing their path. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out just a little bit here, speed up time again. All right, we're starting to pick up some extra aircraft, but those aircraft look like they're heading for California. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick scan here. Yeah, it looks like they're heading for California, so they're not even going to cross across Washington here. So I'm not even going to bother adding them onto my strike plan here. Oh my God, that's a lot of airplanes. Now, the interesting thing here is these are all Tupolev 16s. These are not the big, scary airplanes. So remember, it takes 2 minutes to launch. These guys are doing 450. They're covering 4 minutes a second. We need to launch in about, 6-7 minutes or so is basically when we're going to do it. Once we start crossing over that line a little bit more aggressively, that'll be a good time. And we just got nuked. Sorry, Canada. We should have come for you. What? We just lost our radar coverage. Oh, no. Now, I love scenarios like this, because now you're sitting there going, uh-oh. You know, that's problematic, but we still can't launch yet because we don't have ourselves a good solid target. All right, time to go. So now we're going to go to our thing. Again, I'm acting like every good player. We switch this mission to active. As soon as we do, these guys start grouping up. One thing you do want to do, though, is you want to set your situation to go ahead and have people jump out of the group if they run out of fuel. We want them to use air-to-air guns, and we want them to retreat as they hit and drop in state. You don't need to bother keeping them into small groups. There's just no point in doing so. So now, of course, these aircraft have all been ordered up to scramble. They start scrambling, and they should be hitting the target region pretty much right on time. And we're starting to reacquire all those targets. We lost one bomber went ahead and clipped that thing there. Remember, we still have to identify these bombers. We can't just kind of zip right up to them and start shooting at them. So that's a problem for our Air Force, or I should say our Army troops, is they've got this rockets, the surface-to-air missile systems. But the problem with them is the fact they have to identify their targets. And so they're going to be relying us in the Air Force to be doing most of the work for them. I don't know who you think you're going to engage there, but you guys have fun with it. All right, our first little battle has begun. So we're going to sneak up on this guy right here, sneaking up, come swinging up. Remember, we have rockets, as in air-to-air rockets. We don't have any missiles or anything like that. The 86Ds do have missiles. Actually, I think the E's do. The D's are going to have to use their guns. All right, we're getting into range here. We're having a really fun battle here. Unfortunately, we're being woefully unsuccessful. Oh, one of our guys just got shot down. We're going to acquire the next target. Hey, so far so good. He's getting on his 6, and they're having a nice little fight. Looks like a bit of a gun battle. And I think we're about to take our first city casualty here, which is kind of a shame. All right, I think this guy's going to get through. This is going to go poorly. All right, I hope you guys have some SAMs. Good, they're going to fly right over an Ajax battery. This is good news. We might have a chance. Here comes the Ajax. Ajax going for the first kill, and we got a kill with an Ajax. I swear that never happens. Unfortunately, as I'm noticing with the scenario now, is that a lot of these aircraft seem to be heading for California, which is good because I have plenty of protection down in California, so I'm not worried about that too much yet. So they're going to get themselves in a little battle here. So far, I haven't lost any cities, which is awesome. That makes me feel a little bit more confident. Sneaking up on this guy, chasing him down. We just made our firing pass. Keep in mind, this is pretty early in the morning. One of the Ajax batteries joins in with the fun. Probably going to be a minute. Oh, clean hit. Nicely done. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get these guys back on the ground basically as fast as you can so that you can rearm and refuel them because you know you're going to need them for the next wave. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up time a little bit here. So far we've lost nothing, although it looks to me like we're about to lose something. These guys are having a pretty fun fight here. I'm not worried about them. California can get those. I'm actually going to order these guys to attack these. I'm going to order these guys to attack those. And then I've got one group here. Go ahead and order these guys to attack those two real fast. There's only one F-89 left in that group. And we're doing what we can here. Remember, let the interceptors who are good at intercepting things do the work here. Don't try to fight each and every one of these bombers individually. You're just going to end up wasting time. Uh-oh. No, not Vancouver. Not Vancouver. No. Come on, Vancouver. You're going to have to protect yourself. Come on, 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 come on. Don't let him drop the nuke. Oh, lucky day. He wasn't going for Vancouver. Oh, that was lucky. Wonder who he's going for, though. Oh, man. Oop. Of course, there it is. He broke up in midair. Okay, so now we've got to get everybody back to base as fast as we can. However, while we were busy with that, it looks like it's Malmstrom's airplace's task now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all these guys. I'm going to press the B key. I'm also going to right-click on them and unassign units, and then press the B key again, because we want to get them off of that mission. I'm actually going to delete this mission because I don't need it anymore. Meanwhile, I'll go ahead and get myself my second round of intercepts, called Malmstromsept. We'll do air intercept. Sounds pretty good. Again, I'm just pretending like I'm every player ever. We'll add all units on the map. We'll consider them to be hostile. We'll go grab this one. Oh, we have starfires. Nice. So we'll assign to mission. We'll do intercept. And that's all we have is starfires. Oh, boy. This is not going to go well for us. And let's see here. There's a whole extra wave of bombers coming for us that we haven't even begun to deal with so far. All right, Malmstrom, you're on. All right, I need you guys to get back to base. I don't know who you are, but I have a feeling you're friendly. All right, here comes my starfires. Notice they're in groups of 2 here in order to spread them out. Obviously, we're going to try to thin them out as much as possible so that I think this Ellsworth can do the rest of the work here. Meanwhile, there's an entire wave of bombers that we haven't even begun to deal with, but it looks like nobody got through. So I'm actually kind of happy about that. Grab Valiant 3, I'll go ahead and order him to return to base. And now our starfires are going to do everything they can. There's really not a lot of value up here, so this is basically going to be a free hit for those guys. I'm not too worried about it. All right, let's see what we got over here. He's coming in for a landing here. Go ahead and order him for a landing. And the starfires, remember, are armed with rockets in the nose. You've actually, I don't know, do we have a good picture of one of these? It's a bummer. If I could show you the picture, it's actually just a nose loaded with rockets. It's pretty wild. All right, we're getting ourselves in a pretty good-sized fight up here, trying to do everything we can to thin. Again, we're doing a really nice job so far. You know, we're kind of having fun. We're running these guys down pretty effectively. My starfires are doing what the starfires is. Oh, no! Oh, no. And again, this is why you got to be paying attention at all times. So it seems like California is about to get hammered. So again, this is what I love about these kind of scenarios, is that it's like, oh my God, what do we do now? So the good thing about this place is we have everybody to help us out here. I'm going to go ahead and California hit. I'm going to order you guys to do the attack. We have F-89Ds. We have everything to protect us here. So I'm going to go ahead and load up everybody. We have we even have F model of the F-86s. That's wonderful. We even have starfires. Oh man, these guys are going to get hammered. Let's do California hit. Let's go ahead and join these guys too. This is Castle Air Force Base. They have F-86Ds. It's finally daytime enough for them to actually help us out here. And that's everybody. Okay, so the nice thing about California is that we have a ton of Ajax batteries here. And we also have Beaumark way down here on the coast. Now, the thing I don't like about Beaumark is the fact that they use nuclear weapons as their primary interceptors. So obviously, detonating nuclear weapons over the San Francisco Bay Area is probably not terribly polite. So anyway, we'll continue our little scenario here. Looks like a couple more aircraft have joined us in. Go ahead and add them to the pile of things that are going to get ruined here. Meanwhile, our California escorts are starting to get airborne. They're going to be ripping off the runway faster than you've ever seen before. And meanwhile, our Ajax batteries are going to start opening up any second. So this is a lot of bombers. Notice, by the way, we were never able to detect this group of bombers. The reason why is they traveled like this. So they completely skipped all of our coastal batteries there, making it a much more lethal for us. So again, our aircraft have all been scrambled. Everybody's going, oh God, are we going to be in there in time? I don't know. We'll find out. Meanwhile, we have to start preparing for our next wave of bombers, which is going to be the Chicago attackers and the DC attackers and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and swing back over here real quick. Kind of take a quick look at that. Oh, they're coming. Oh boy, they are coming like crazy. And I'm noticing this scenario is starting to slow down. I don't know if you can feel it, but I can certainly start to feel it. Swing back up top now. Okay, these guys have done what they can to kind of soften that crowd up. I'm going to go ahead and order them back. I'm also going to delete their mission because unfortunately, we're never going to be able to get anything else. We're going to need to save as many of these fighters as possible for later. It's going to be up to the kind of the mid-coast, Ellsworth, to kind of pick up the slack here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab all these bombers. Let's go add them to the Ellsworth mission. Ellsworth int. That looks good. Add them all on the map. Let's go over here. Ellsworth. Oh, sweet. F-86Ds. These guys are going to have a real easy time with it. And we also have some F-80-90s, which is, was the best interceptor they had at the time. Let's go ahead and Ellsworth Int. You guys have the duty. Have fun. Meanwhile, in California, this is where the real fireworks are about to start, because in just a moment, the Army's going to start launching their Ajaxes and their Beaumarks. The Beaumarks, by the way, come from way, 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 way down here on the coast. Beaumark is basically a surface-to-air cruise missile. It's the best way to describe the darn thing. All right, here we go. All right, folks, good luck. Remember, millions and millions of lives hang on the balance here. All right, they're going to start doing their thing. But again, I'm feeling that scenario really start to bog down now. Aircraft are coming back. Let's see how we're doing as far as the destruction of enemy property goes. There's a whole extra wave of bombers coming down on us, and unfortunately, these guys are going to be scrambling to reload so that we can actually put them to good use here. Come here, and they're going after it. So any second now, you're going to see about 100 Beaumarks get launched. And again, like I said, Beaumarks are nasty because they're nuclear, and they tend to hit my interceptors too all the freaking time. All right, we just launched another couple aircraft. Oh my gosh, look at the size of this next wave that's coming. Now, imagine what the press would be saying if this was happening to you. All right, we managed to splatter one of them. And now there's tons and tons and tons and tons of groups of aircraft coming out here. And like I said, the Army is going to be helping us out in about 2 seconds once the Ajax is getting range. Not that the Ajax is what I consider to be, a deadly system, but it works. It does work. Meanwhile, these guys are starting to intercept as well. They're going to be flying up there. These folks are heading home. I don't know why you guys are so far north. Get back home. And I got to get ready for this next wave. So already this scenario is getting a little overwhelming for me. And again, this is just kind of the version 1, and we're going to kind of have to think this through. All right, kind of studying here. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I think that's going to get a little messy. We're cutting these guys down. Here comes the first Ajax. Swinging nope, went right by him. Fortunately, the Ajax hit by. I don't see any nuclear damage so far. Here comes a couple more Ajaxes. But I noticed there's a whole wave of bombers that look like they're going to get through clean, which is terrible, terrible news to us. We should have micromanaged our fighters just a little bit more aggressively there. Meanwhile, in the middle, all our F-89s and stuff have all launched. Looks like our Chicago crowd is going to have to start thinking about getting ready. Duluth is going to take a crack at these folks down here in the middle. But again, we're way, way out of range. Until they basically cross into the U.S., we can't launch at them. Let's see here. How's everything going down here? Oh no, a nuclear bomb got dropped. I'm so sorry, Sacramento. No, 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 not Sacramento. Hopefully they're duds. Meanwhile, there's a really big squad here, but the Ajax batteries are really, really having a fun time at this point. Again, thanks to open source data, I can predict these things and see what this looks like. First Ajax almost creamed my interceptor buddy here. Here comes my next couple Ajaxes. You can see tons and tons of these missiles. The good people in San Francisco are all probably in their bomb shelters. I really hope at this point, because this is going to get really nasty before it gets less nasty. Coming up here right fast. Yikes. Ooh. Oh no, we got one. Here comes another Ajax. I bet the Beaumarks have been launched. Yep, there go the Beaumarks. Look at the range on these things. It's like, 250 miles. The problem is 250 miles is a long distance. And I think we're about to lose Sacramento. Oh, Sacramento, I'm so sorry. I hate nuclear weapons. Nothing should be that dangerous, at least that nasty. It's just, it's not fair. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and launch against everybody else now. We got to think about these guys. They're still coming in. Meanwhile, we have an entire second wave we haven't even touched. Go ahead and come back down here. Looking at how everything's doing. Oh, boy. Oh, did another one get through? There's an Ajax. Is it going to connect, though? Oop, another Ajax. Oh, we lost our aircraft. Ajax is on its way. Now, imagine doing this with ICBMs. This fight would have been over already, and we would have lost. All right, come on. The Battle of San Francisco is on. Keep in mind, this is only an hour after these guys were detected. Ooh, that missile's going to go way wide. Hopefully they have another Ajax ready. Yep, here comes the next Ajax. Come on, keep it together, keep it together. Meanwhile, these guys in the middle are basically getting spread out all over the place, and the scenario is slowing down. I've got it on fire mode, and I'm getting basically 1 frame per second here. So it's not doing me much good. It looks like we did a really nice job intercepting these guys. Or we lost track of them, which is more likely what had happened. So let's go ahead and add this crowd up to my Ellsworth hint. Boop. Go ahead and add those guys so that we can join in the fun here. And obviously Duluth is going to be in the line of fire and everything along those lines. Okay, let's see how we're doing over here in San Fran. Uh-oh. Is this Ajax going to save Oakland? Save Oakland! Think of the Oakland! And Oakland is in a lot of trouble. Hopefully there's another Ajax ready to launch. Yep, next Ajax is on the way, but is it going to get him? Actually, he might not be going for Oakland. Let me see here. He seems to be going for something further south, maybe in L.A. This is the one time it's nice to be in L.A. because you're a lot farther away than... Oh, no. Bombs away. No, what have you struck? Oh, he went after an Ajax battery. I have a feeling he attacked the wrong target. But better an Ajax battery on the coast of San Francisco rather than, San Francisco proper here. But I'm sure the fallout effects would pretty much make this all unlivable for 1,000 years. Let's see how everything else is going here. We got a big wave here coming through. Let's see how this little explosion goes. Are we able to take this guy out? And then we'll go ahead and pause and kind of take some inventory of our scenario so far. Notice the bow marks are still on their way. And again, this is all 50s technology. All right, take a swing up here. That guy just got splattered. All my little bomber interceptors here. They're doing the best they can. We probably should have done bigger squadrons there. I think that was a mistake on my part. An angry Ajax is on the way to basically say, hey, thanks for blowing up one of our existing sites. I don't like that very much. I don't know that it's going to intercept in time, but we'll certainly find out. Bow marks, by the way, are cruise missiles in the sense that they actually have an onboard radar that turns themselves on when they get close to the target. There's actually no fire control radar for a bow mark missile. It's very unique in that sense. All right, I think that's going to swing and miss. Yeah, it went completely wide. This one's going to come wide. Is it going to catch him? Nope. It's just going to go right by him. All right, here comes the bow marks. Keep in mind, most of these are nuclear, so it'd be really shame if they set off one of the nuclear ones over the city. I think you can probably imagine why that would be a bad thing. All right, swinging up here. And we're doing a pretty good job chasing these guys. I think these are the ones going for, like, Phoenix and stuff like that. Swing back up on this side of things. Ellsworth is doing what it can with what it has, but it kept losing sight of all the bombers because there's not good radar coverage there. Meanwhile, our Chicago kind of area, these guys are going to have to start getting ready because they're about to get hit. Meanwhile, our 4 folks over here in Washington are about to get hit with the next wave of bombers as well. So obviously this is going to get pretty messy. Oh, no. Oh, it didn't quite hit San Fran, but it certainly took a chunk off the coast there. It created some new beach property, basically, is what it did. That's lame. All right, so this missile's come rolling in here. We'll see if... I got to see this guy get knocked out of the air here. Once he's down, I'll go ahead and pause, and we'll kind of take some inventory here. Meanwhile, these guys are still chasing them all around, our big valley over here to the east. Oh, I think that Ajax is going to go wide. Yep. That one went completely wide. This guy's just, chilling. He's feeling pretty good. High on the hog is the expression we'd use. All right, missiles coming in. Come on, U.S. Army. That missile needs to do the job. Right up his tailpipe. Missed. Hopefully there's a bow mark on the way, which there is. See it? That guy just does not want to go down. So I bet that Ajax battery is sitting there looking at their ammunition, their magazine, going, we can't do this all afternoon, Chief. Meanwhile, all these aircraft are just zipping everywhere and really not doing that much. I need to really recall as many of these as I can. Actually, I'm going to grab all these right here and try to recall them. Unassign, and then I'll send you guys back home, because if I don't, this is going to cause you different issues later on. All right, everybody come back home, because I need you guys for later missions, because obviously there's going to be another wave. Notice this guy is still chilling perfectly fine, even though he's just circling the area he just annihilated. Chances are his navigator is sitting there going, I'm a little blind, give me a minute here. I've never been to the United States before. That missile kind of went wide as well. Come on, man, it shouldn't take that much to hit this one guy. Don't make me get an F-14. Meanwhile, this little squad is, this is kind of a fun little fight here. Remember, these things have tail guns. Go nice and wide, 36,000. Here comes another Ajax, and I'm sure there's a bow mark down here coming for him. There it is. Well, unfortunately, these bow marks travel, 1855. That's a Mach 3 or so. But it still takes a pretty long time to get to the region because of their insane range. All right, this is going to be the one. This is going to be the one. Here it comes. Here it comes. Bam. All right, let's pause. Okay, so we've been running this scenario for a little while now. It's about 15, 20 minutes or so, kind of getting a feel for it. And, we've done an all right job of kind of checking how it feels, how it plays. There's some good challenge, there's some good strategy in it. But as far as the scenario goes, it really slowed things down when we started adding a lot of units. Now, this will blow your mind. That's how many aircraft are left. And this is how many aircraft I've noticed so far. So let's go up to losses and expenditures for a second here. And you can see I've lost a couple Thunder jets, plenty of Scorpions, a ton of radars. I've gone through plenty of ammunition, 2,600 rockets. The U.S. Army, they've lost a couple SAM sites. They've gone through 27. Civilians, I lost a single city, which is awesome if you think about it so far. I'm doing pretty good. On their flip side, they've lost 33 Badgers. Now, if you remember a couple weeks ago, we actually created 200 Badgers and 400 Tupolev 4s. So this battle has just literally barely gotten started compared to what the actual scenario is going to end up being. So as I'm looking at this, as I'm playing this, it's totally possible to sit here and play through this entire scenario. As a matter of fact, what I'll do is if anybody wants to give this thing a shot and kind of see how well they can do, I'll provide you with a link to this scenario as is. But the reality is if we try to play this and continue playing this, the longer we get into this, first of all, the more casualties will start to run up because there are so many bombers versus us. And second of all, the scenario is just going to slow down to nothing. So with those kind of reflecting, we're going to have to take a step back. And with the next video, we're going to have to take a couple minutes and actually go ahead and see what we can do as far as to try to make this scenario a little bit more manageable for a computer. Now, what I'm thinking of doing is simply taking a single region, let's say California or Los Angeles, for example, just using this region, just with the defenses of this region, and then basically simulating our multiple waves of unknown bombers and seeing how well the player can do with one city versus the entire United States. One neat thing that you can do, by the way, in command. Uh-oh, watch me get the big red X. Nope, not today. Haha. Let's go to game options. I believe debug information. Where's the button that I want to see? Hang on, I got to get it real quick. I just got to remember where it is. So it's game speed. Where is the button that gives me the magical thing that goes up on the top? Hover info, message log and secret window. I do not remember where this was. Debug is to a file. Okay, that's what's different. Because in the old days, when you had this, you could actually put it up here on the top of the screen so you could see exactly how nasty we're actually being to our... Oh, there we go. Active unit count, 2,436 units, and my pulse time is taking a half a second per second. So obviously, that's slowing things down a bit. Okay, so next time what we're going to have to do is we're basically going to have to take a couple minutes, find a way to make this scenario a little bit more manageable. And I think I have a pretty good idea of how we can do that. But like I said, I'll provide this scenario as is for anybody who wants to try to take a crack of it on their own. I guarantee you when this wave starts to get close to these cities, it's going to get a little messy, especially when you try to throw the entire East Coast at this many bombers. It's going to be a bit of an experience for anybody who gives it a try. Other than that, enjoy.